What's up, everybody? My name is Eddie and welcome back to the channel, Hustle and Grow. Today, just got to get done working out at the gym. One of my days off from my regular job. But today I just want to talk about three things real quick. Just real quick. Three things for your eBay store that's going to help your eBay store grow. And so those three things would be customer service, price, and niche. All right. And I'm going to just go through these real quick. But I put customer service as number one for a reason. So of course I'm a manager. I've been in restaurant management for years now, and so for me, I know the importance of customer service and the fact that while you might not have a lot of repeat customers on sites like eBay and all that, the fact of the matter is good customer service can cover a multitude of sins. And so what do I mean by that? So for me, when I look at, when I'm talking about my eBay store, of course, my eBay store ain't perfect and I've been all over the place and I'm working on like just narrowing that down. But when I look at what I'm selling in my store and I go around and I look through eBay and try to see who's selling the same thing, first thing I always do is I look at their feedback score. Now, and there's a lot of sellers, a lot of big sellers too, who have a lot of feedback, but they got a lot of negative feedback. And so I know a lot of sellers will sacrifice feedback in a sense, for volume, just doing the volume, because, doing a lot of volume can cover some of that negative feedback. But as a smaller seller, and that's kind of what I wanted to, for this to be about, is how as a smaller seller, you can compete with a larger seller on platforms like eBay, even though you might not have as many products or as much capital, okay? But the main thing I look at is feedback. And so I go through their feedback and I'll look at the things that they are doing wrong, right? I want to know what they're doing wrong so I can do it right. And that which takes me to what I said just a few seconds ago. Good customer service can cover a multitude of sins. So what do I mean by that? It doesn't necessarily mean you won't never get a negative feedback. It doesn't necessarily mean that, all your customers will be totally satisfied. What it means is that if you're offering good customer service, even when you do messed up, you're less likely to receive negative feedback, and people might be more willing to give you a chance to rectify the issue as opposed to just putting in negative feedback. Okay. And so let's go through some things. So like, okay, if I'm selling clothes, I'll go to the clothes sellers on eBay, especially the larger ones, and I'll look at their feedback. One of the largest sellers on eBay, I went through their feedback, and one of the main things that people was giving negative feedback about was how they were receiving their items. Okay, the clothes would be just bunched up and just thrown in a box or thrown in a bag and wrinkled up and stuff like that, right? And so what that tells me is that presentation, right? Presentation. Yeah. And what happens is when somebody gets something and it's already negative from the door, from the outset, then that's when they start to nitpick and they start to notice every single thing that's wrong after that, and they get pissed off, right? And then that feedback, the potential for negative feedback just spikes right through the roof, right? They're probably going to do it. And so when I go through and I see stuff like that, I tell myself, if I'm selling clothes, when I send out clothes, I'm always putting it in a bag, right? It's on like clear plastic bag. And I'm still putting it either in a poly bag or a box. I'm always folding it. I'm never going to just throw it in there. Of course, accurate descriptions. I'm going to describe it properly, and I'm going to ship it within the allotted amount of time. And if there's an issue, I'm going to answer the customer service, because that would be another thing. After the issue, there would be no answer when a person tries to reach out to talk about the problem. So usually there are steps along the way that allow you the opportunity to rectify the situation before a person leaves negative feedback. Usually, not all the time, but usually. And so now when you're talking about good customer service covers a multitude of sins, let's just say, for instance, I send out an item, right? And it might not be perfect. Maybe, things was a little off. Maybe there was a spot that I didn't describe or that I didn't catch in the images, maybe, or something like that. Who knows? But when I sent it, it was in a bag. It was packaged well. It was wrapped up. It was protected. It wasn't wrinkled, as opposed just for clothes, right? Also, I sell a multitude of items, right? Which I'm going to be getting away from. But when you talk about maybe health and beauty items, if it's a lotion or something like that, it's in a bag, separate bag. If I sell 2 lotions, I'm putting each one in a separate bag. I'm tying it off, making sure it's not moving around, all that type of stuff, because I want the first impression when a customer sees my product, I want that first impression to be a good one. That way, if I did mess up on something afterward, they might just be like, oh, well, it's okay, right? Or they might be more likely to reach out to me, hey, such and such, this was wrong or that was wrong. Is there anything way we can fix it, right? And again, this ain't for everybody and this ain't every time. You're always going to have those people, right? So let's just exclude those people. We're talking about the majority of the time, right? Not everybody's a scammer. So this gives me an opportunity to fix the problem. Now, when they reach out, if they are trying to scam, I'll deal with that in a certain way as well. But I don't get crazy about it. You know, if anything, I'll be like, hey, if you're not happy, I'm sorry about that, but you're more than welcome to send it back for a full refund. You know, if they want more than that and that I'm not willing to do it, that's on them. But I'm not going to get upset about it. I'm not going to argue with them about it. They can say something rude. I'm not going to be rude back to them. Okay, because sometimes people are just fishing for a reason to go one step further, right? So customer service, customer service, customer service. That could be the top three right there. But presentation, you have to present your item well from the outset. From the outset. All right. That way, if there is something wrong, they'll either let it go, or there's more likely a chance that they'll just either reach out to you to see if you can fix it, or they'll just put in for a return and send it back. But it's all better than just getting negative feedback, right? So you have to make sure that your customer service is on point. And so as a smaller seller, when you look at these larger sellers, and here's another reason why I say that too, because when people leave the feedback, when they leave the positive feedback, because when I'm shopping on eBay, I look at feedback. I'm not necessarily deterred by negative feedback. I'm deterred by certain types of negative feedback. And that would be things like the item came and it was just a mess, right? The person didn't package it well. They wasn't shipping on time. A lot of not as described negative feedback. I'm not worried about negative feedback per se. I'm worried about the types of negative feedback. And so, and that's why I also look at the positive feedback. What types of positive feedback? So as a smaller seller, you want that positive feedback, of course, but you want it to be things like fast shipper, item as described, exactly what I was looking for. Things like that. Things that's telling a person who might not necessarily want to get something from you at first because you're not as big of a seller, or you don't have as much feedback as a bigger seller. But when they read through your feedback, and even though this is a bigger seller over here, they'll see in your feedback, yeah, maybe you got 100 or 200 or 300, 400 feedback, and this seller got 10,000, but yours, even though you might have a couple negatives here and there, yours is mostly item as described, super fast shipper, great customer service, great eBayer, fix the problem, right? It ain't about not having problems. It's about when there is a problem and the problem arises that you fix it. So a person will see that and they'll be like, okay, well, yeah, it's a smaller seller, but you know, the feedback on here is exactly the type of service that I need, because if something go wrong, then I know that there's more likely a chance that it's going to get fixed and rectified. So, you know, that just increases your chance of getting a sale. And so that's important to me just as a seller on eBay, smaller than most, of course, is that the types of feedback that I received, especially that positive, I needed to be things like fast shipper, great eBayer, great seller, fixed my problem, so on and so forth. So then when people read through that, they say, okay, yeah, this is legit, and it breeds trust. So they'll look at the item and they'll look at the pictures, and when you got a lot of feedback that says item as described and things like that, people know they're getting what you say they're getting. All right, that's the most important thing, especially on eBay, right? People want to know that they're getting what you said, but what you're saying in your listing that they're getting. All right, so the second thing is price. Now, as a smaller seller, you can't. It's hard to compete on price point with a larger seller, right? It's harder to do that. So you don't want to try to do that, especially if you're trying to grow your business. Now, if you can, you should always be looking for whatever it is that you're selling. Of course, you should always be trying to get that at the lowest price point possible, but you don't necessarily want to sacrifice quality either, right? So you want to get the best item at the lowest price point and that you can pay for it, but you also don't want to overprice your items either. All right, you don't want to be the lowest, but you don't necessarily want to try to be too high either, right? You want to put your price right there in that middle road, at a point that's going to give you a healthy margin, healthy return, but that's also going to allow you to be competitive, okay? Because even if you got good feedback and stuff, if the larger sellers with all their negative feedback still got it at a lower price point, people will take that chance by, hey man, this is like $3 cheaper, right? But if you got it at a competitive price point, your feedback is on point, good customer service, there's more likely a chance that you'll get the sale. But always be looking for opportunities to get that item or whatever it is that she's selling at a lower price point if you can. And if you can get it at a lower price point, don't necessarily try to sell it for more just to squeeze more profit, right? It ain't necessarily all about trying to squeeze all the profit out. You want to remain competitive, and you want to be able to increase the likelihood that you're going to get your, you're going to get that sale. So just because you can get it lower, don't think, oh, I'm going to get it lower, sell it for more. I mean, stay competitive, because a person might come in, they might be getting their product at a lower price point too, and they'll just undercut you and take a good portion of those sales away from you. So you want to be competitive to where like you ain't shooting yourself in the foot either. Oh, and the final thing is niche. One of the things that I'm realizing is that I don't want to be all over the place with my store. I don't want my store to be an everything store, which is exactly what it is right now. It's pretty much an everything store, and I got a little bit of everything in it. I've been dropping some of the things down, trying to get rid of it. Some of it I'll probably be taking a loss on, but I really don't care. I just want to be done with it. And so what I'm niching my store around more, not saying that I'm not going to sell different types of items, but what I'm niching my store around more is the health and beauty space. Now, health and beauty is a very, very competitive space, but I feel like, with all the sources out there, that can get my products, I can get a good variety of products at a very competitive price point that allows me to compete in that space. And all I got to do now is just, put my products out there and kind of just flood that space with my products. And so that allows me to do a few things, man. Like, it's when it comes to shipping, man, like I don't want to have to go from shipping a bottle of lotion to a pair of shoes to a VCR back down to a radio. Like that stuff is, I've done it and I don't like it. It's time consuming. It's taxing. It's so much better. Like today I had 15 items to send out, right? Dude, and it was so much easier. I mean, don't get me wrong. Not all things that I sell in the health and beauty space are smaller items that's easy to ship, but most of them are. And like I said, it's all presentation. I wrap everything up. I make sure it's safe. I make sure that if it does, open up and spill out, that it's only going to damage that one item and nothing else in the box. All of that. But it's so much easier. And just narrowing down and focusing on that. My sales are up, like I want to say about 34%, somewhere around there, 30 something percent. And just everything just seems more streamlined. You know what I mean? So focus on a niche, focus on one thing, one area, and try to just perfect that and compete there. It's very difficult to compete in multiple categories and be dominant and be a dominant force in each of those categories. It's probably not going to happen, but you could definitely compete in one single category and be dominant in that, or two. But I would say one thing. So for me, it's health and beauty. And while I know there's a lot of categories in health and beauty, I'm not necessarily focusing down on one single category within the health and beauty space, but I'm doing overall health and beauty. But for me and my business, I feel like it's working out better, as opposed to me, like, I don't, while I don't have nothing against thrifting and all of that. I just found out, for me, I don't like it. I don't like thrifting. I don't like selling clothes. Not saying I won't sell clothes. I got clothes in my store. I'm trying to get rid of them. I still got clothes I need listed. I'm debating on whether or not I want to list them, sell them as a bundle or whatever. Not saying I would never sell a pair of clothes again, or any types of clothes again, but I don't like it. So I'm going to list and start building my store around the things that I like doing, and just, and focusing and narrowing in on one thing, one area, one space. And since I've been doing that, I just feel like things have been going so much more better, man. And it's been a battle, because I'll come across stuff, and or certain deals and certain lots and things, and I'll be wanting to get it, and I just got to remind myself, no, let's just stick to the script, right? So as a smaller seller, if you want to compete, 3 things you need to do is focus on your customer service, focus on getting things at a good price, and focus on niche, right? You need to focus. You need to focus. You need to be narrow. You need to be streamlined. You don't want to be all over the place. You're already at a disadvantage. And so in order to gain an advantage, you need to do the things that maybe other sellers are not doing. And when it comes to sellers that's at your same level, you'll shoot past them, especially if they are those types that aren't focused, and they got the everything stores, or they got this and that, and they all over the place, or the customer service is wishy-washy, right? You're going to just shoot past them, and you're going to start gaining more ground. So, you know, those are 3 things for me that I've been using to grow my business. Things that I take from my industry, just from my regular life and my regular job, just especially the customer service aspect, because I know how important that is. And that's what I use, and I just translate that over to, you know, my online business and where I want to go with it and what I want to do with it. So, you know, I hope those tips was helpful. I got some more content coming for you guys. If you find that helpful, why don't you do me a favor, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, show your support. If you got some, why don't you share some of your ideas below, man? Tell me what you think it's going to take to help get your online business, or just your business period, to that next level, or share some of the struggles that you've been going through. What have you been struggling with on eBay or Amazon, or what have you been struggling with reselling in general? Share some of those things. Maybe we can, you know, just shoot around some ideas in the comments and come to some solutions, or maybe I can make another video to talk about some of those issues and some of the things that I come across, or some of the answers that I come across that help me just in my endeavor. So again, hit that like button, subscribe, share the video if you think it's helpful. My name is Eddie. This is Hustle and Grow, and I'm out.